Let me tell you something real. Every single one of us gets a moment in life where we're standing on the edge of a cliff. Behind you is everything that's been holding you back, your excuses, your fears, the lies you tell yourself. In front of you, that's the leap you need to take. You're either going to jump or you're going to crumble and die inside. That's what do or die means. It's not a cute slogan, it's the reality of life. You see, life doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you've had a rough day or if you're scared. The world's going to throw punches, and most people, they just curl up hoping the pain will stop. But hope won't save you. Action will. You got to decide, are you going to do something about your situation, or are you going to die in the comfort of your excuses? Because let me be real, every time you choose to sit back, to stay in that safe little bubble, a piece of you dies. Your dreams, your potential, your growth, they all die. Let me break it down for you raw and real. Every single one of us has a moment where life steps up, stares us in the face, and asks, what are you made of? It's not polite. It doesn't knock on the door and wait for you to answer. Life barges in, throws you into chaos, and says, figure it out or fail, do or die. That's the moment when you find out who you really are, not the version you show the world, not the person hiding behind a filter, but the raw, unpolished truth of your existence. You see, this isn't about luck, talent, or timing. This is about survival. Life doesn't care if you're ready. It doesn't give a damn if you've had a tough day, if you're tired, or if you feel like giving up. That moment comes whether you want or not, and when it does, there's no neutral ground. You're either moving forward, fighting for every inch, or you're backing down, retreating into the excuses that have been keeping you stuck your whole life. Here's what most people don't understand. Do or die isn't just some dramatic phrase. It's the way the world works. Look around you. Everything in nature operates on this principle. A bird doesn't get to decide if it feels like flying today. It either flies or it starves. A predator doesn't get to take a week off from hunting because it's feeling lazy. If it does, it dies. It's brutal, but it's honest. That's what life is, brutal honesty. The difference between humans and the rest of nature is that we've gotten too comfortable. We've built these little safety nets around ourselves, and now most people think they have the luxury to sit back and coast. They think they've got time to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect feeling. Let me tell you something, that's all a lie. When you're faced with that do or die moment, nothing else matters. Not your fears, not your past, not your doubts. All that matters is whether you step up or step aside. Because let's be real, most people don't step up. Most people freeze. They let fear get inside their heads, whispering all the reasons they can't, shouldn't, or won't. Fear paralyzes them, and in that moment, they die a little inside. Their dreams die. Their ambition dies. Their potential dies. And the worst part, they don't even realize it. They just tell themselves it wasn't the right time, and they move on like nothing happened. But for the few who choose to do instead of die, for the ones who step into the fire, even when they're scared, even when the odds are against them, that's where transformation happens. That's where you stop being a victim of your circumstances and start becoming the person you were meant to be. And it all starts with one decision. Are you going to do this, or are you going to let it beat you? That decision is not easy. Don't let anyone tell you it is. Doing the hard thing, the scary thing, the thing that makes you want to puke because you're so damn afraid, that's what separates the strong from the weak. And here's the kicker, you don't just make that decision once. You make it every single day. Every morning you wake up, life is right there in your face, asking the same question, what are you made of? And every time you've got two options, you either do what needs to be done or you die in the comfort of your own excuses. Let me paint the picture for you. Imagine you're running a race and it's the hardest thing you've ever done. Your legs are screaming, your lungs are on fire, and your brain is begging you to stop. Right there in that exact moment is where most people quit. They look for a way out. They start telling themselves, I've done enough. No one will blame me if I stop now. But the people who win, they don't listen to that voice. They dig deep. They find a way and they keep moving because they know something most people don't. Pain is temporary, but quitting is forever. That's the essence of do or die. It's not about waiting for the stars to align or for someone to come save you. It's about looking at the mess in front of you, the chaos, the fear, and saying, bring it on. It's about choosing to fight, even when it feels like you've got nothing left. Because in those moments when you push past what you thought were your limits, you find out what you're really capable of. And let me tell you, it's a hell of a lot more than you think. So when life puts you in that corner, when it gives you that do or die moment, remember this: hesitation is death. Action is life. You don't have time to sit there and think about it. You don't have time to weigh the pros and cons. You either step up or you step aside. And if you step aside, you've already lost. But if you step up, that's where you start to live. That's where you become unstoppable. There's a moment in life where you have to make a decision that isn't just a choice, it's a commitment. Let's get this straight: success is not optional. It's not something you casually pursue when you're in the mood, when the weather's nice, or when the stars align. Success is the decision you make every single day, and there's no room for hesitation. That's the brutal truth. You either commit fully to it or you accept mediocrity. There's no in between. Most people walk around acting like they've got all the time in the world. They think they can put off the hard stuff until they're ready for what? Life isn't waiting for you to feel ready. Success isn't going to show up at your doorstep and ask politely if it's a good time. It's either now or never. Every single second you spend hesitating, overthinking, or waiting for the perfect moment is a second you'll never get back. The clock is ticking, and let me tell you, the gap between you and the life you want is closing fast. If you're not moving, you're falling behind. What separates the people who make it from the people who don't is one simple thing: action. Not ideas, not dreams, not potential action. It's about doing the damn thing, even when it's hard, even when you're scared, and even when you have no guarantee that it's going to work. Action is the lifeline. It's the thing that keeps you alive when everything else feels like it's falling apart. But here's the kicker: most people never take action. They talk about it. They think about it. They plan for it. But when it's time to actually do it, they freeze. Why? Because it's hard. Because it's uncomfortable. Because it's not convenient. Let me tell you something: real success doesn't care about your comfort. It doesn't care about your schedule, your feelings, or your excuses. Success demands everything. It demands that you show up when you're tired, when you're hurting, when you've got nothing left to give. That's the price, and you either pay it or you don't. But don't fool yourself into thinking there's a third option. There's not. You either get it done or you don't. Period. The problem is most people don't understand what it means to commit. They think commitment is just saying you're going to do something. No, commitment is doing it no matter what. It's deciding that failure is not an option and then backing that decision up with relentless action. Commitment doesn't care if you're motivated or inspired. Commitment doesn't care if you feel like it. It's about making a choice and sticking to it, even when it gets ugly, even when it hurts, even when you want to quit. Think about this. Every time you choose action over hesitation, you're building something inside of you. You're building trust in yourself. You're proving to yourself that you're the kind of person who follows through, who gets things done, who doesn't back down when things get tough. That's the foundation of success. It's not about talent or luck or being in the right place at the right time. It's about showing up every day and putting in the work no matter how you feel. Now let's get real about what this looks like in practice. You're going to have days when everything feels stacked against you. You're going to have moments when it feels like the world is conspiring to make you quit. Those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments where you either step up or step aside. You don't get to take a day off from commitment. You don't get to sit this one out because you're tired or overwhelmed. Success doesn't care about your excuses, and neither should you. When you're in that moment, when you're staring down the thing that scares you, you've got to make a choice. Are you going to act, or are you going to hesitate? Are you going to do what needs to be done, or are you going to let the moment pass you by? Let me tell you something. Every time you hesitate, every time you choose comfort over action, you're reinforcing a habit of failure. You're teaching yourself that it's okay to settle, to play small, to stay stuck. But every time you choose action, every time you fight through the fear and the doubt, and the discomfort, you're building a habit of success. You're proving to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can rise to the occasion, that you can handle whatever life throws at you. This is the reality. You don't get what you want by wishing for it. You get it by working for it, by fighting for it, by doing the hard stuff that most people aren't willing to do. You have to decide right here and right now that you're done waiting, done hesitating, done making excuses. Success isn't going to wait for you to get your act together. It's either now or never. So what's it going to be? Are you going to act, or are you going to let life pass you by? Owning your choices is the ultimate game changer, but let's get real, most people don't want to hear that. It's easier to blame everyone else, your parents, your boss, the economy, the weather, your genetics. People love to point fingers because it lets them off the hook. It's comfortable to say, this isn't my fault, but comfort is a liar. Comfort keeps you weak. You want to know the truth? The situation you're in right now, good or bad, is the result of your choices. Own that. You've got two options in life. You either take responsibility or you don't. There's no halfway. People think they can cherry pick accountability, taking credit for the wins while blaming someone else for the losses. It doesn't work that way. If you want to be great, you have to own all of it, the failures, the mistakes, the setbacks, the pain, especially the pain. Because until you face that truth, until you stop running from it, you'll never grow. You'll stay stuck, spinning your wheels in the same damn place, wondering why nothing ever changes. Here's why you refuse to own your life. When you take ownership, something powerful happens. You stop waiting for someone to save you. You stop hoping for a miracle, and you start working for one. Ownership isn't just about taking responsibility for where you're at. It's about taking control of where you're going. It's about looking at your life and saying, this is on me. No one's coming to fix it. No one's coming to rescue me. If I want something to change, I've got to do it myself. But let's not sugarcoat this. It's hard. It's brutal. Because owning your choices means admitting that you screwed up. It means facing the fact that a lot of your pain is self-inflicted. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it's also the most liberating thing you'll ever do. Once you take responsibility, you take back your power, you stop being a victim of your circumstances, and you start becoming the creator of your future. Here's the thing, life is always going to throw crap your way. That's not up to you. What is up to you is how you respond. You can either let it crush you or you can use it to get stronger. Ownership means understanding that your reaction is your choice. You can't control the cards you're dealt, but you sure as hell can control how you play them. And if you play them right, even a bad hand can turn into a winning one. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your potential. Every time you blame someone else, you give up a little bit of your power. You're handing over control of your life, one excuse at a time. And for what? So you can feel better in the moment? So you can avoid the sting of admitting that you messed up? Let me tell you something, comfort is temporary, but regret lasts forever. The longer you hide behind excuses, the longer you delay the life you're capable of living. When you own your choices, you gain clarity. You stop wasting energy on things you can't control, and you start focusing on what you can. You stop worrying about what other people think, what they say, or what they do. None of that matters. What matters is what you do. Ownership gives you the freedom to stop comparing yourself to others and start competing with the only person that matters, the person you were yesterday. This isn't just about mindset, it's about action. Ownership isn't a thought or a feeling, it's a decision. It's waking up every day and choosing to take control. It's looking in the mirror and saying, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. I'm going to do something about it, and then actually doing it. That's the hard part. Talking about change is easy. Everyone's good at that. But real ownership, that's in the doing. It's in the doing. It's in the relentless pursuit of better, no matter how long it takes or how hard it gets. When you take ownership, you stop fearing failure. You realize that failure isn't the enemy excuses are. Failure is just feedback. It's a lesson. It's a stepping stone. But excuses, they're the chains that keep you tied to mediocrity. Every time you choose an excuse over action, you're choosing to stay the same. And let me tell you, staying the same is the quickest way to die inside. Ownership is freedom. It's the freedom to take control of your life and shape it into something you're proud of. It's the freedom to chase your goals without holding back because you know that whatever happens, you can handle it. You've proven to yourself that you're strong enough to face the truth, to own your choices, and to keep pushing forward no matter what. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep hiding behind excuses, or are you going to step up and own your life? Because at the end of the day, no one else is going to do it for you. It's all on you. And that's the best news you'll ever hear. Fear is the one thing that will hold you back more than any